This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
You know, one of the things in college sports that's difficult is just knowing all the names on your teams on a year-by-year basis, with the transfer portal being such an integral part of building teams and also in some ways tearing them down. So it's good to have familiar names on an annual basis, and you got one of them that's with us here on Halftime right now, and he's made a decision to stay at Arkansas for one more year, and it is Will McEntire. We appreciate your time, Will. It is always great to talk to you, whether in person or here on the radio. How are you today?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing good. Really good. It was exciting yesterday. Seeing, first of all, that you were deciding to come back and that you wanted to come on the show to talk about it. So, you know, they got some pieces in the Democrat about it, too. And what's the response been since the decision became public?
It's been awesome. There's no better fan base in the country, and so supportive. And I think it made the decision a lot easier, getting that support.
Hey, Will, it's Matt Jones here, man. I'm a big fan of yours. What was the number one reason that you decided to stay at Arkansas, and who else? Where else were you thinking about going? How is this transfer portal? How has it all been?
I never got in the portal. It was just mainly a decision on whether or not to start my professional career. I've heard from multiple different teams that they were interested, but it just didn't sit right with me that, you know, the last two seasons of Arkansas have ended on our home field, and it's also just been a dream of mine getting to play here. And I just thought, you know, with one last year, I should come back and, you know, go try and chase down a national championship one more time, and really just want to do it for the fans and the program, but especially Coach Van Horn. He's been working on getting one for a long time, and I just think he really deserves it.
I think what you're talking about is it's something that Matt Jones from the Democrat Gazette had hit on in a column that was titled, "You Want Will McEntire on Your Team." You know what it's like to play at the College World Series. You had a great performance against Auburn in 2022. You know what it's like to enjoy postseason success at Arkansas like you did in 2022. And you've been around for other years where there were big things that are happening as well. You're kind of a link. You are the link back to the last time Arkansas advanced out of the first round. That seems to me, from when I'm hearing you talk about this, it's like I think you could have gone either way here. So, I mean, is the decision more about the program and getting the team back to Omaha, or is it more about, you know, what you want out of your career?
Oh, it's 100% the team. Getting to Omaha, when we were there, we had multiple guys on the team that were there to experience it before that team got there. And they kind of just guided us through what it was going to be like and what it's going to feel like when you're out there playing. And I just think it's important that a team that wants to make a run has a guy that kind of has that experience, and I feel like I have that to offer. But I just think this program's too important to me, and I've given 5 years, so why not one more? But I just think this program deserves a title, and any pieces that help fit into that puzzle of searching one are, you know, going to be greatly appreciated. And luckily, I feel like I've been blessed to be one of those pieces.
Hey, Will, how do you see your role being on the team next year, if it's a reliever, if it's starting, if it's closing, and who is maybe another pitcher that we haven't got to see yet that you think is going to have a breakout year next year for the Hogs?
I honestly couldn't care less what my role is. I just want to be able to contribute and help do whatever the team needs of me. And then, like, for a pitcher to break out, if he's healthy, I think it's going to be Hunter Dietz. This fall, he had an unbelievable fall, and unfortunately, he just wasn't healthy in the spring. So if we can get him healthy and he does what we know he can do, he's going to be a big piece next year.
Dude, I've tried to figure out, like, I've written down all of the pitchers that I think could be part of the starting rotation next season. And I about ran out of room on my notebook, Will. And you're one of you've started lots of games. I think you're comfortable in a lot of different situations, but it's like you can't put a rotation. You could put a major league rotation together if you had a 5-man rotation, maybe so. But right now, it's just like I can't wait to fall ball and watch these guys do their thing, because I really like what they've put together. As far as the pitching staff is concerned, they've only added 3 out of the portal, and it's an amazingly talented staff. And man, it may be even a little deeper than you were last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been cool watching them piece together this team. It's been kind of odd. Just I've been caught in 2 different eras. I came in as a freshman before the portal, and I came in and I was the one having to learn names. And now it's just like it seems like it's different every year, or you got to learn 20, 30 names every year. And it seems like they brought in some good pieces for next year.
Hey, we had this remarkable season by Hagen Smith last year. How fun was that to see this up close and personal? And what's something that you've gleaned, that you've learned from Hagen Smith watching him the last couple of years and being a teammate of his? Yeah.
Oh man, it's definitely his work ethic. I've never seen somebody have a work ethic like him, and it's just something I inspire to try and get on his level of how hard he works. And then it's been awesome. I've been blessed in my career to watch 2 fantastic pitchers here, Kevin and Hagen, and both of them have their different successes, and it was awesome to get and watch both of them and learn from both of them.
Now, obviously you're committing back to Arkansas for another year, so you won't be worried about whether your name will be called the next, in the 3 days of the Major League Draft. But there's got to be an excitement level, from you about your teammates and where they could go. I mean, it's like there could be 7, 8 guys drafted in the 20-round draft, and we're all wondering where Hagen goes. And of course, there's like 6 or 7 other guys where their future also depends on this as well. And that's like, that's when you start to get a little misty-eyed about these guys. We're like, well, we'll never see them play at Arkansas again, but can't wait to see them play moving forward.
Yeah, it's been cool. Every year I've been here, you just get a group of guys that go get the opportunity to play pro ball, and I think this group's going to hit a little harder than others because I was here the whole time for Hagen, Stovall, Kendall, all those guys. I've been here their whole time for their career here, and spending 3 years with them, you got really close with them, and you're going to be extremely happy for them to go on to the next opportunity for them, but it's also just going to be a little hard to see just because those are some of your best friends and they're moving on.
Hey, Will, so what is your favorite pitch, and then what is something maybe you're working on this offseason, or what's a pitch that you want to be able to throw better this next season?
Definitely going to say my cutter. That's my go-to. And I've been working on my curveball to try and just make it more competitive. I kind of lost it this season, and I feel like that's just kind of hurting me because I only had really a fastball and a slider, or the cutter as my primary off speed. And then currently in the works of shortening up my arm motion a little bit. It kind of throughout the season just got a little bit longer, and I think that kind of contributed to maybe a little fatigue, maybe a little worse command. So we're working on shortening my arm path up a little bit more.
You'd hit on something also that Matt Hobbs had mentioned during in his interview with Matt Jones, and it was the idea of fatigue. And we had some listeners text in, when you were I think the most used pitcher in the SEC for the first 6 to 7 weeks of the season, and they thought maybe it might be a little difficult to keep that kind of usage up. And he said that maybe there were a couple other pitchers that they could have looked at. But man, I mean, it's tough to not want the ball, right? I mean, they call you up in the bullpen. It's like you always want the ball, but when did you start to feel that fatigue? And you'd said what it did a little bit to your cutter, but that obviously might have been a little bit difficult to deal with because you knew you were going to get called on still.
I never really truly felt fatigue. It's just kind of something that probably just happened that I probably just didn't notice because as a player you don't really think about that kind of stuff in the moment. You're just out there to compete. But looking back and stuff, my numbers definitely took a hit towards the end of the season just because I wasn't pitching to the best of my ability and lost command for some pitches that I needed to be a competitive pitcher out there.
Well, I don't know if y'all are like the football team and y'all do captains, but I do know you're a leader and you're going to be a leader on this next year's team. What does that mean to you, knowing that, guys coming in the portal, freshmen coming in, you're a veteran, and just by nature, you're going to be a leader? Is that a little extra responsibility on your shoulders?
No, definitely. I just want to be able to set the example on what it means and how to act as a Razorback. This program's got a high standard. It's tough to live up to, and if you're able to get all the guys on board for that, the potential is unlimited.
Well, what is your hope, or what was your dream? Growing up as a kid who's got a family that's obsessed with baseball, and I know that on a personal level. And you yourself, obviously, you have to be obsessed if you're going to pitch, at the level that you have pitched. But, I grew up wanting to play in the major leagues. I did not watch college baseball growing up. I did not have a Razorback baseball program that I could, live and breathe and die with. You did. What was it that you were growing up that you wanted to accomplish as a pitcher? Can you put a value judgment on it, major leagues or the Razorbacks? It's not like you have to have one or the other, but, it just feels like you being a Razorback just means it means something different.
Oh, yeah, it means a lot. Coming from the state, living in central Arkansas, there's no professional teams. I mean, you got some minor league teams in this state, but there's, no true, top professional teams in the state. And, the state gets behind the school. Football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport it is, the state rallies behind that sport because just means so much for us because we don't have any professional teams to root for, and I think that's what makes Arkansas a very unique and awesome school to be able to play at. And I just think my dreams were always to try and play for the Hogs, and if professional came around, awesome. Me and you got to see me grow up at Dickie Stevens because my dad would work with you and always bring me to games, and I think that's just kind of where the obsession with baseball, trying to get to a high level of it, really started. Getting to watch all those guys come up through the minor leagues. We got to see, you got to see prime Mike Trout.
Yep.
Who were some other guys like C.J. Cron,
Richards,
all those guys come up through
We saw some great players together. That's for sure. That is for sure. How do you define what a successful season is for Arkansas baseball? I sometimes have difficulty when I look at a 15-week regular season and you see such excellence during that season, but don't make it out of a regional, and you look at it and be like, well, it was a bad season, or we didn't accomplish our goals, so this wasn't a good season. When you're like, well, you did win a division. 20 wins in the SEC is really difficult to accomplish. But in college sports, it is about the postseason. How do you define what a successful season at Arkansas is?
I definitely say the standard of this program is the postseason. With how much success this program's had in the last 15, 20 years, it's definitely based off of your postseason success now and not based off of your in-season performance. Everybody really just cares about trying to bring home the big one for this program.
Will, we'll leave it there. I always appreciate you hopping on, whether it was on the podcast or here on Halftime. I did run into Madison at a Travelers game recently because the guy, he is more of a baseball nut than I am and more than you are. So I wasn't surprised when I saw him there. Yeah, maybe we'll see you out there too sometime. Will, thanks for joining. Congrats on the decision. Looking forward to seeing you pitch in the fall.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Will.
You got it. Will McEntire, Arkansas pitcher, and certainly one of the ones that I think anybody listening is always going to remember. From Bryant, grew up a Razorback fan, and he's going to take that Razorback career to the absolute very end.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.